welcome back to Unfiltered Raw, the podcast where we drop the masks, get real, and talk about things that matter. We expose what silence destroys. No filters, no shame, just honest conversations about lives, challenges, the choice we make, and how those choices shape who we become. Today's episode explores the deeply complex world of sex work, not to judge, to condemn, or stereotype, but to understand the human stories behind it. People enter sex world for many different reasons: trauma, exploitation, poverty, coercion, desperate circumstances, and sometimes personal choices. Every story is different, and every person deserves to be seen with dignity, compassion, and humanity. From a spiritual perspective, this conversation goes far beyond a profession. It is about emotional healing emotional wounds, restoring self-worth, releasing shame, rebuilding healthy boundaries, and rediscovering that every human being has value beyond the past or present circumstances. Whatever your beliefs, we invite you to listen with an open mind and an open heart. This is Unfiltered Raw, and my beautiful co-host will share her personal experience, and we're going to have this conversation. Hello, Annick, and welcome.
Hello, Liliana. Thank you. Yes, this is in fact the very first time in my entire life that I'm going to do a podcast on my ex-sex work. So that's that, right? It's huge for me. It is also kind of a relief, really. And I'm glad I can share it. Like you said, it's not to judge, it's not to condemn, it's not to do anything. It's just to give my perspective on how I lived it, how I entered the things I did, and even I have to forgive myself, which I do, because at that time I didn't know any better, the choices I make back then. It's also not about to judge people who are choosing today or tomorrow or next month to enter or to stop or to do whatever they are gonna do involving sex jobs. It is just.
Sorry to interrupt, this is, I would say, is educational.
Yes.
And would be especially for young people who at the moment maybe they're going through something very difficult. So it's a window for them to understand the consequences, to understand how deep this goes.
Huh. Yes, you are right, but it's not only for young people. There are people of your and my age maybe deciding tomorrow out of I don't know what desperation, need, lust, I'm gonna do this. So it's a bit for every age. It's for women or people who feel appealed and compelled and want to listen because they know there is something today that they must know in this conversation. And I'm sure there will be things that they want to know, must know, and then they decide whatever they want. But I think it's a very valuable information that I'm going to share, because not so much people who have lived this want to share this openly because they have families, they have a job, and they are just in a position that they cannot do it. I'm in a position that I can and I want to do it because I think the world needs this conversation. That's why we are here today, Liliana, and that's why I'm going to say what I say. And I think we might even need two conversations because one is way too short. Anyway, let's begin. What kind of a woman enters this world to begin
That's
with?
interesting. Yes. What kind of world? Yeah.
What kind of woman? Well, there is no right answer. I was the kind of girl, I was freshly out of my addictions. I said in my head, I don't want it anymore, and that was that. And I kept a promise to myself. It was finished. But I was kind of like vulnerable, and I had this guilt and this shame of also using the drugs and stuff. I had low self esteem at that moment. It was not out of desperation, but more kind of out of I wanted validation, external validation, and the belief that money, much money, was gonna solve all the problems I had, which wasn't true, but I didn't know that at that time. I think also even now, money is portrayed to humanity as if it is the magic wand that is going to solve everything else that you are challenge, every other challenge, but it's just not. It is a big illusion. Money is just
I agree.
energy, and you can use it to do good things in a different way, but you can use it in another way. It is whatever is behind it, is the intention behind the money, how it's going to play out. So at that time, so that I entered the sex world, I was kind of fragile in any way. And when you are fragile, predators, they see that,
Oh
and
yeah.
they pull you in with the cords, and yeah. So there is, for example, and then I'm talking people that I worked with. I'm talking about other girls and women, their examples, without using names, of course. You have to respect everybody's privacy. There are girls who start exclusively to have luxury because they want to buy a
Okay.
house with a big swimming pool, and they want the expensive treatments, and they want all kinds of clothing that is very expensive. They want that kind of, and that's why they do it.
Lifestyle. Yeah.
Um, high ticket lifestyle. I'm gonna call it like
Yeah.
that. Then there is the mother of 7 kids. If she goes working in the grocery store because she has no education, she doesn't have a degree, or she doesn't have that, she doesn't know how to use IT to build something for herself.
She
And then
has
she said,
the kids.
yeah, she wants to provide for the children. She wants them to have everything they need, the schooling, the clothing, whatever it is. So she decides, okay, I have to have a big amount of money now. I'm gonna do sex work. And there is many reasons why women start, but usually except from the women who chooses the luxury, there is some kind of a problem in the background, usually.
Yeah. There's always a background story why that kind of choice. It's not always spontaneous or
No,
willingly. It's just there are so many reasons.
there are extremely much reasons, but if I package all those reasons together, uh, all the reasons, all of them stem from a low vibrational, from a low vibration, because any woman in a high vibration would never for any reason choose this kind of work. So I was myself in a very low vibration with all those things I've named you, the shame, the guilt, the low esteem, the because I was not forced. I am not talking at all about women who are being who are forced to do that work. That's not what I'm talking. They are there too, and I worked with
Yeah,
them.
that's
They
yeah,
were
that
there
is
also.
something else. Yeah.
That is completely something else. It is not their own decision. They are there, and they don't want to be there, but they are there. I'm only talking about the group that somehow chooses to enter.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna talk how I got in. So I was in this low vibrational state, right? I went to the nightclub, and like I said, low vibration attracts low vibration. So you have to know, first of all, in a club, a dancing club, where the discotheque, where the music, you come to dance, there is all kinds of people. But most kind of people that are there to go out Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, whatever, are low vibrational people. That was my experience, and I went to many clubs. So who are those people? Sex workers, gang members, pimps, dealers. Then you have a little bit of normal people who just want to relax after work. And then you have politicians, doctors, lawyers. You see what kind of a mix is there? It is something else. I'm not saying everyone is low vibration, but okay. And there I come. I was not a sex worker at that moment, but I entered the club because I needed the club to make myself feel good. I was looking for external validation there. I liked to dance, but I wanted the boys or the men to look at me and to give me a drink. That's what I was there for, to be noticed. And then, of course, a recruiter noticed me, right?
Right, okay.
In the clubs, I know in Belgium, in several clubs, are sex work recruiters or porn recruiters. Both of them. And at first there was a porn recruiter who asked me if I wanted to be a porn star, and oh, you're a beautiful girl, you know. But he was very respectful, because I know that guy, and he is respectful. He's one of the few respectful guys in that world. And I declined. I said no, because this was too much for me. It was such an exposure to... no, I said no, I couldn't do that. So that was a no-no. He didn't ask again, so that was good for me. But then there was the sex work recruiter. And that's a woman, not a man. And a woman knows how to talk to other women. That woman did. And so we had this nice conversation, we had a few drinks together, we danced, and then she started to tell that it was so nice, and I saw other girl, look, and this girl works for me, and this one, and you know, you start bonding, trauma bonding, because all of those girls are looking for validation, and then it clicks instantly. And then after a few times, you know, you would be perfect to do the job, this and that, and they pour into you. And I fell for it, because I was weak in that area. I was looking for validation, and she was telling me she could give it to me. So I said yes. So there was no interview of any kind. She just said, you would be perfect. You know what? Pick a different name, not your private name, and okay, start. And I was like even a little bit excited. And I said, well, okay. She said, if you want to stop, you can quit immediately. So there was this freedom. If you go for a normal job, you sign a contract, and you cannot say after 3 days, oh, I don't like it, I go, you know. There's all kinds of rules you have to respect, and in that world it's free. She said to me, oh, you are going to be so free, you know. She gave me the illusion of freedom. Oh, such a big illusion. It's sold like that even now. But that's for later. It is one big illusion. They sell you freedom, but you are in a cage, let me tell you, in a big cage. So it was yes. And once there...
So, would the recruiter be in charge of providing clients?
No, I don't think so. Not that I know of. Because this person, the recruiter, doesn't even come in the club, in the sex club. They only come in the nightclub to be there at ease, watch people, and then it's like they can feel your vibration, and then they'll know it's you. Yeah. They are there exclusively for that, to recruit girls. They don't come in the sex club.
Yeah,
That's
but then
different.
where do you work?
So, the nightclub, the dancing club has nothing to do with the sex club in itself. You work in a shut down sex club that is completely shut off from the
All
outside,
right.
people know it's a sex club, but they are usually colored in red or in extremely bright colors, and then
Yeah.
there is neons outside with girls, 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 girls. You know it's sex clubs. You just know. And
Yeah.
usually there is one window with neon lights. In the club that I worked in, there were no girls at the window. It was all to do inside private club. So
All right. Yeah,
that's a
yes. Like
client.
I visited Amsterdam once and we walked through the red light district, something like that. More okay.
But there, I know girls who have done the window work, but then you have your own window, you stay at your window, everyone can see you, and everyone can also see the client coming in. It is even more exposure. The private clubs is, the client comes in, and when he comes in unnoticed, nobody sees anything. It's for the sake of the client so that he feels that he's safe, and when a client feels safe, the wallet goes open. It's all psychological. It's all
Yeah,
very
yeah.
yeah,
Oh
psychological.
yeah. Yeah,
So
yes. The magic.
yes. And then once there, you come into this new world with these new girls, and you bond immediately. Oh, I had few girls who I had jealousy or anger with, but you bond with most of them because most of them have exactly the same problems. And then you come in that club, and then you are a different person because before you came, you did your groceries, you cleaned your house, whatever it is, or you did with your kids or your husband, because there's a lot of married women doing this. And then you are Annick, and then you come in the club, and then it changes. Then you are Annelyn suddenly, and it's really strange, but you change entirely. You put on
Yeah.
this whole um, cinema and masquerade because you are somebody else there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
You have
then
to become, even psychologically, you have to impersonate another
yes,
person to function.
yes, in that line
So
of
you
work,
deny
yes,
your own personality
yes,
because otherwise it would be just too much,
too
I
much,
guess.
yes. Uh, that was for me, but I think the girls who I've talked to, it is for most women. It's like that. And then you have to know half of the girl is drugged. They are drugged, they
Yeah.
are drunken before they come, they take I don't know what or sniff I don't know what. And there are some that don't do anything. I was off of things. I only smoked cigarettes back then. But I was off of drugs, off of speed, off of cocaine, off of anything. So yeah, it was really difficult. But I wanted the money so bad, you see? And that's why I said,
Yeah.
okay, let's try. It's gonna make me happy, the money, and I'm gonna be fulfilled, but no. No. Um,
So, um, how was your first encounter to be paid? How did you cope with that?
Before I tell this, Liliana, there is another thing you should know. I'm going to try to tell what kind of men, first of all, enter that club.
Oh,
So that you
yeah,
have, like a little idea. The pattern that I noticed, it's almost all also low vibrational people who are in need of something. They are seeking, or they are depleted, or they are numb, or they are, if I can say it in those words, not right in their mind. Um, it can be men, but it can also be women entering the sex club and asking women to do kinds of stuff. The club that I worked, I was allowed to say no if I didn't want to do, because that's not in every club. There is clubs, you work there, and they say, okay, if you want to work here, for example, let's say this is a club, really big clients come, and you know you're gonna make a fortune, but then they say you have to take everybody, man, woman, whoever comes, big, fat, skinny, ugly, stinky, good smelling, everybody, you have to do what they ask. That was not in my club, so I could make a selection.
say no. Yeah,
I could say no. That was the luck that I had there. Um, so yes, who comes in? Well, there is men who want to. It was um, 95% men. Yes, the uh, age range is every age, from 18, because you have to show your passport, right? From 18 to till in their 90s, every age range and every class. Not homeless people who don't have any money, that you
Yeah.
understand, because it's a
But
paying
otherwise,
job.
every class.
Yes, it's every class. It's from people who do normal work until politicians and doctors and
Because
lawyers,
anyway,
and they all came. So yes, but how are those people? What do they want? Because the man is who he is. He has his money, but what do they want? Some want just to talk. There is men who don't even want sex. They want to talk about their problems and their wife and their children, and this is, they are not talking to me anymore, and I have this with my wife, and they only want kind of a sexy psychologist.
okay.
Yes. And that is when that kind of man came, it was like, phew, for me, only talking about,
Nice.
yeah, nice. That were the ones who were like more respectful, generally, those kind of men. Um, then there is the man who want to party, and I'm smiling now because those were the men who made me laugh. I remember there was one. He wanted to, when he came, he wanted 2, 3 girls coming in there, and he paid like the little drinks, but rapidly, the one after the other, and he would dance naked with with a sock tied to his penis, and yeah, he wanted us to be the audience and to idolize him. Yeah, to be like,
Yeah.
ooh, and he was
All
like
right.
Michael Jackson,
You
and
want
we
to
were
be a
like
showman,
the showman,
easily
right? He
loved
was the
and
stripper.
idolized.
Yes, he wanted to be adored and idolized, and of course, but it was very and he knew he was funny. Oh my god. And there is few like that. They ask your bikini, they put the bikini, you put oranges in the bikini, they go and swing in the pole. Oh my god. Those are the funny ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, they don't want sex. They want to party, to have fun, and to do the things that they can't do that in a normal nightclub.
Yeah.
So that's why they come. Um, then there are men with big cash. Doesn't matter what their job is. They have the money and they show immediately, listen, I've got the money, right? I remember this Chinese guy having so much money and paying champagne one bottle after the other. We had to drink it because some clients don't care if you drink it or not. They just know they're paying time. But we had to drink it, and then this man would verbally abuse us all night. So he would insult us. And he really meant it, because you can feel the energy. You are a fat cow, your ass is way too big, what the hell are you doing here? And he made it very clear, listen, I have the money, I am paying, so you have to listen and basically shut up, right, bitch? In that kind of a way. And it was very degrading, especially in the
Yeah.
beginning of the evening. Later, when you get drunk, but
Forget about it.
you
Yeah.
forget about it. But that's what I mean with men who are not right in their mind. Why the hell do you do something like that to another human? It's
Yeah.
a power dynamic. He want to use its power basically to. It is an unhealthy power dynamic.
As you stated at the beginning, people who go for sex, paying for sex, they have some issue. They have issues, low
Yes.
vibration, but they have traumas. They come out, God knows from which issue and problems in life. So
Yes.
there you go. Then you have the abuser, you have the one who wants to play games, and you have
Yeah, it's
all
power
sorts.
games.
Yeah.
Maybe this man, you don't know, as a child was abused by, you don't know. But that is the result,
Exactly.
and that's what I know from back then. So yes,
Precisely.
and then you have a man with, okay, they say I want to have sex. Okay, let's take the room. Okay, you go to the room, you do your job, and then afterwards they say, oh, I'm so relieved. I had this one client, and I said, oh yes, yes, he said, because I am so angry at my wife. And I said, yes, why? Ha, the bitch, he said, she's pregnant again, that's why I come. And that really hit me. I will never forget it ever. Because I was like, oh god damn it, you're having a freaking baby with a woman. You are coming to dump here because you're angry. You know, it's sick, it's twisted. And
I so appreciated this conversation, Annick. This is very good in the sense that how many husbands
yes,
we think we think
are good
you know
man, husband,
they're
but they're not.
perfect, they're holy, they're this, they're that. Oh my God. So here we
Yes,
have someone who's got his wife pregnant, and now he goes, oh my God,
yes,
that's very
yes.
eye-opening.
Very eye opening. That's why I never forget. It hit me like a ton of bricks. But anyway, okay, a few more and then I'll stop. Then you have already an idea. There is the ones who you must hurt. I remember a young guy, relatively young. I think he was in the army. There's much army men coming to the sex club, much. Um, and he said, "I want you to kick me in the nuts as hard as you can, and I'm paying you good." And I was like, yeah, we were already in the room because he told me sex. And then he said, no, no, because it was already paid. And I was like, oh shit. And I'm not that kind of person. I don't want to hurt another person. So I thought in my mind, I'm gonna try. And I did like, pew. But so basically, he was not satisfied. He could feel it. I did not do as hard as I could. And he was frustrated and a bit angry, and he left, mumbling. But you see, even they're not always satisfied. Half of the time they're not satisfied anyway, because
And I'm
they
right
have
here.
problems, and sex is not gonna solve anything, or kicking you in the nuts or whatever it is. But I just thought, oh man, this is children in there. It's your sacred, it's your genitals. If you ask me to punch you in the face, that maybe would have been a little bit different. But there, to me, it was horrifying, that question. You know, I couldn't do it properly, so I just did a little bit, and that was it. Yeah, so you get that also, that kind of things. Um, and then, last but not least, the clients who fall in love. They are there.
Oh my.
They fall in love
Oh,
with a girl, madly, madly in love. I didn't have a client that went head over heels for me. Yes, I had them, and then they became my boyfriend, but not a client that because if a girl knows this client is madly in love with me, then she has the power, and she's gonna suck him dry. She's gonna
yeah.
take all the money that she can, and I saw that happening. There were clients buying cars and televisions and whatever it was for the girls. Oh my God, doing everything the girls said, but it's one way. It's, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's sad. It's all what I'm telling you. It's all not on a healthy basis. It's all based on power dynamics, and it's like, when I did Buddhism for 10 years, and there they taught me the animal world, and the animal world is you eat or you get eaten, and that's
Yeah.
that world. You eat the client or the
There's
client
not
eats
much.
you.
Yeah. There's not much difference in the human world.
Yes. And you have a little bit of laughter, and that fills you up a little bit. Then now and then you have a client who is very nice, coming to talk to you, and he's very respectful. and then it gives a kind of a balance, and then you have all that money coming in every day, and you say, "Ooh, you go and buy this and pedicure and all those things." So it numbs the pain a little bit, and certainly in the beginning, it numbs a lot of things. So you forget or you store it in the background. You don't want to look at it, all these things.
Yeah,
But they are there, and they are working. They are circling on the background. All of these things, knowingly or unknowingly.
absolutely. And the thing is, you are not aware. That's
No, in the
that's why
beginning, no.
many people, yeah, many people get stuck in their situation because they never get aware of their traumas, what they're experiencing.
Yes, that's true. But on the one hand, it has to be there. They are needed, sex workers. But on the other hand, I do this just so people know if they are maybe thinking, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna try this, then you know what is there. And then it's your decision. There is no right or wrong. If you want to do this with all that knowledge, okay. But then you know a little bit what is
What
going to come
exactly? Yeah,
eventually.
what to expect more or less.
We
What's
can't
there, what's
judge.
hiding.
Yes, we
Yeah.
can't judge another one's decisions to do that. And they have to learn. If that is the path they choose, I also chose, they will learn.
Hmm. Oh yeah. But it's very comforting to hear firsthand what does involve and the situation you may find in yourself in.
And also,
It,
when you are working in that club, that was, let's say, 15 girls a night, let's say, that was approximately, it is more difficult also to say stop because you have that bonding. There are your sisters, you are
yeah.
talking about, you share secrets that no one else know, and you are doing that job that not much people do, because how much of a percentage of the population in a country does sex work? Probably now more
Hmm.
than before, but when I did when was it, when I was, I don't know, 21, 22, there was not so much of a percentage. You didn't have OnlyFans and all that stuff. You didn't even have the smartphone then. So it was exclusively in the clubs or in private
Well,
houses. But
yeah, but sex work is nothing new. I mean, the
no,
the the Roman Empire they had sex workers, so
yes,
it's nothing new. It
no, no.
is, I always said, it is a service that is required,
Mm,
therefore is, it has been always provided.
yes,
Now, the problem is, of course, things that we don't know because
yes,
there's lots of abuses.
yes,
That's because it's a taboo job.
yes.
Therefore, it comes with abuse and people's been abusing.
Mm.
What was your first reaction, your first internal feeling when you had the first client?
First of all, I don't remember, to be honest, exactly who that was. The mind has its own way to deal with things. When your mind has an experience that is too hard to cope with, it will shut it away. Well, that's what
That's true,
happened.
yeah.
So I don't know. I really don't know anymore who this man was. What I did remember was the um, boss from the club that was a female. There is male bosses and female bosses. Sometimes there is couples who run a club. I had a female boss, and she was so psychologically smart that she told us, listen, I'm not a man, I am never going to beat you, blah 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 blah, which is true, because sometimes when it's run by a man, they will beat you up. It happens. But she was so clever, and she did everything in like a manipulative way, to manipulate us psychologically, simply said. So she even called her son who was then, I don't know, 24, I think. It was a handsome boy, Greek boy. She called her son to come over and to sleep with the girls, just as a present. You imagine putting your own son and sleeping around with those girls. It's it's out of the mind, but at that time,
That is called oh my God, the in the UK we have a secret customer that goes to into the restaurant and spy on the service. How they call it? Oh my God, I can't think now. It's so the conference. Let's talk about you have a chain of restaurants,
yes, yes, yes.
and
Yeah,
the
I
boss
know what you
of the
mean.
yeah. So he sent this trusted person to be served so they can report back to the boss. So that's why she used their son to test the girl, so you see how you were providing services. Oh my goodness me. But anyway,
I don't
somebody,
know.
there you go.
I don't
You
know
can do anything.
if he provided the information, but no, I just think she did him a favor as he grew up in that world. He was used to pretty
Yeah.
girls everywhere, and it was just like, I don't have to find love. I can have sex whenever I want. It made him feel special, I guess. And we were happy because we didn't have to do a client. It was kind of consented because he was a very handsome guy. But I remember in the beginning, I only did nice and young men. I remember. I didn't want any other. But then, after 1 or 2 months, they don't pay as well because they don't have the money yet in that time. And then I said, nah, I'm gonna try this. Gradually, I did different and more. And the more I got into it, the more distorted it became. And the more I had to dissociate from myself. Because
Yeah.
when you're agreeing to have this kind of act with a man you really don't like, you're like, blah. You have to dissociate. You are going to a place where you are peeling the potatoes, or you are in a store buying stuff. Your mind is there in Walla Land, but your body is there with him on the sofa or on whatever it is. There is different places you can choose. You have the bubble bath room, the red room, the blue room, the sofa room. There is kinds of decorative rooms that you can choose. Pricing is different. But yeah, you are not there with your mind the further you go, you know?
Yeah. That's a coping mechanism, I
That's a coping
suppose.
mechanism. There is also clients, if they drink, they drink too much. They are so miserable that they drink with you, and then when it's time to have sex, they're like, oh, they fall asleep. And then you wake up next morning, boof, stupidly drunk. It was very good last night. Nothing happened. Yeah, that's also what happens sometimes.
But at least they feel so
Yes.
ingratiated. I mean, they feel so good. Oh, I was so good last night. Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, very good. And oh yeah. Yeah, there is
Oh my.
many, many, many different things happening. Okay, so what I've told you now, that is what my mind was saying to me, what my mind. But then you have your body. You have feelings in your body. You feel your body. And how can I say this? Yeah, when people saw me on the street, because it lasted 8 months, the sex work that I did in the sex club. Afterwards, I did the stripping for a decade, which I'm going to explain in the next episode. It looks better and safer than real sex work with the sex act, but it's really not. No. And that I'm going to explain then. It's astonishing what it does. But anyway, now, when you are doing sex work and you walk in the street, nobody can see it. If you dress normally, you see a
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah.
Um, So physically, no one sees anything. Even when you watch in the mirror, you don't see anything. But inside your body, your meat suit, is storage of different emotions, and there is frustration, and there is anger, and there is disgust, shame, guilt, all these kinds of things, and they are there. Because if you go and you look at tantric practices and Taoist practices, they explain that all these emotions have a place to store. Some of them go in your kidneys, others go in your liver. Anger is in the liver, for example. Very angry people can get dis-ease in the liver because it is staying there inside. So we as girls, all these different things that we have to endure, and we have to smile, but it's inside, trapped in all your
Store
cells,
exactly.
basically.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't see. So what's going on in your mind, that's a different thing. And then what's going on
Yeah.
in the body, that's another different thing that nobody sees. But that it's there. And eventually, when you do not get rid of it, when it gets stuck in the body, it can cause this ease, as we know, on the physiological
Absolutely.
side. Yes,
Yeah.
and then people wonder, how do I get sick? Well, it's bottled up emotions.
Mm-hmm. Spot on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. You bottle up all these emotions, frustrations, it will manifest somewhere in your body.
Oh, yeah. And it takes time, but it will manifest. Don't think you are going to skip it, because you are not going to skip it.
And then you make all this connection, unwanted connection with all these different people
Yes.
that, and that too will leave, let's call it a metaphysical connection.
Yes. So, um, for example, on the soul level, for me, my ceiling, so what was 8 months, that I think, I think I remember the last person. The last person was a guy with blue eyes. I remember very vivid blue eyes, and it was a kind of handsome guy. It was normal sex, but I don't know. We had a discussion while we were. He said that I think we had 1 hour, and then there was still 10 minutes left. And then he said, "I want to lay down with you a bit and talk." Okay, but it got into kind of an argument. I don't know. I don't remember what, but what I remember, was angry. He got up and he said, "Anyway, you're just a stupid whore." And he put his clothes on and he went down the stairs. So sometimes people also, yeah, they come there to ask your service, and then they treat you like a piece of crap. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who was treated that way. I'm very sure. So that
And
was the
simply
drop for me.
because, yeah, these are, as we know, most of these people are people who carry frustration,
Yes.
trauma, and then they've been abused, they go on abusing other people. That's what
Yes.
it is.
Yes.
It's,
So
they pay for the service, but it's a kind of, and then they take the liberty because they paid to
yes.
abuse.
So that's when I said that day, this is not for me anymore. I can't do it because it was getting too much. Then I saw no amount of money in this work is going to do it for me. Even if they pay me 1 million a day, which would be very much millions in the end of the year, it was no. I saw that, yeah, I saw that I can't do this anymore. It is too much of a baggage and of negativity to carry. It's not for me. So I think my soul has understood that day, because basically I understood that I was kind of selling my soul for money, and that what
That,
was what I did not want to do anymore at all. It was very
I think
obvious.
because you were sober, because when you're sober, of course, you have a better connection with your soul, and your soul would say, wouldn't cope with that reality. I mean, as you said, probably most of the people they cope longer because they have
Yeah.
to disassociate themselves from their persona and under the effect of drugs, alcohol, whatever substances. Probably that's the only way you can cope longer.
Yeah, of course, you have to drink champagne there. Maybe not every day, but very often. But yeah, I think that apart from that, I didn't do anything. And I know girls even who go to work in the day, in the grocery store, and they come at night who are sober. There were also, and who come at night to work in the sex club and again in the day because they want or they need, I don't know, the money. And they are sober too because they can't afford to be in the grocery store or they work another kind of job on a desk, I don't know,
Yeah,
daytime, but you can't afford to be drunk there, so, or to be all high, so they do
yeah,
what they do. They drink the little amount they need to drink, and that's it. But yeah, but I think people can cope for a long time. I've seen girls doing it for extremely long time. And there's still girls from back then that I know that are still doing it now. For
hmm
3 decades, can you
yeah.
imagine? It's just unbelievable.
Well,
I
probably they
even
consider as a job and that's it. They probably consider like as they disassociate themselves
yes.
from who they are, and they consider that like a money making machine. They're very, they have segmented their brain,
Yes.
their
Yes.
emotion, and they have total control on their emotion. They become a completely another person, I suppose.
Yes. That's what I want to talk about. The thing you said in the beginning about the energy body and about all the energies and stuff. Okay. Let's tear it down a little bit. And I say a little bit because in the next episode I want to go full on that, because that is so deep, it's so wide, and people just don't know. But then when you know, and when you start to get into it and you understand, then the whole puzzle comes together and you say, "Oh my God." Because when I started to do this work and started getting into that, I said, "Hey, this is me. Wait a minute, this is also me. Oh my God, I had also." It was like, you know. So I'm gonna try next time. I will have like a board, a whiteboard, and to really explain it very well and to be able to show you with a copy. Now let's just do with what we have, which is the iPad, and I'm going to show you what sex work in any kind of way does with your energy centers.
So we talk about through the
Mm.
spiritual lenses, recognizing that we are energy bodies.
You
That's
know,
what you're going to talk about, yeah?
this is not only spiritual. Energy in the body is also, um, how do you call it? Scientifically proven. Because
Oh,
energy
yeah.
is energy.
Yeah, exactly. Because
So
we are energy, yes.
we are energy, and there is, because if you think about it, when you fall in love, right? That's an energy. I am in love. You don't see the in love with your eyes. You feel it. And where do you feel it? Here, in your chest. Love. The same with anger, real anger. You feel it here somewhere. It's all things,
Yeah.
energies that you feel. So that is the thing we are going to talk about. And those are real things that every human being on the planet has those things. So it's no fluff, it's no clouds, it's no unicorns. It is just facts, right?
It's a
So
fact, yeah.
we have the energy centers of a human being going from down to up. It is the root chakra, the red one, the orange one is the sacral
Sacral,
one, the yellow one is the
solar
solar
plexus.
plexus. Then we have the heart chakra, the green one. The blue one is the throat chakra. Then we have the, I don't know anymore. The crown chakra is the
Third eye. Third
the,
eye
the
chakra.
third eye chakra, and then the crown chakra. Right. Those are
Crown
all
chakra.
energies, right? And okay. So what sex work, and I mean any kind of sex work, does to your root chakra, the red one down. When your chakra is contaminated, you experience disconnection, survival, and hypervigilance. Then the sacral chakra, the orange one, when it's contaminated, there is energetic contamination, collective lust, and draining of vital force. I all experienced it, all. When the solar plexus is contaminated, there is boundary distortion, external validation, and control battle. That's what I experienced, all of it.
So it kind of you give away your powers.
Yes, I'm gonna talk about that in the next episode with how do you call it? Examples, real lived examples, so that people understand. Yes. Then the heart chakra, when that is contaminated, there is defensive shutdown, emotional numbness, and isolation. To be in a healthy situation, so man, woman, both consenting, the heart chakra usually, when it's good, is connected to the sacral chakra, and then there is consented SYX, sexual energy exchange, consented, and that can be beautiful, and that can be good for the body. But when it's not consented and when it is sex work, that can happen. So the throat chakra, when it's contaminated, there is silenced truth, not speaking, fantasy selling, and compliance. Oh my god, yeah. And then the last two together, so the third eye and the crown together, when those are contaminated, it's mental overload, blocked intuition, like you said, and spiritual void. Basically, you don't know who you are, and you are just running on like a robot with no feelings.
Precisely. That is, as we were talking at the beginning, we're doing this as educational purposes to inform people the implication of our energy, who we are, and when we, put ourselves in these conditions to kind of being not abused, but it's a consented abuse of our energy. That's what it is. Don't know if you agree. It's a consented abuse of our energy, and we do that unknowingly because we don't know. So it is a good idea to educate ourselves to say, when you give your energy away, you're just not giving something at the moment that you detached and you clear.
No.
There is, you
there
create
much more,
attachment, you create
there is
on
much
a metaphysical level.
That those two eyes don't see. To see that, you need this eye here. But it gets so distorted that it's not functioning, and then you don't see anything.
Exactly.
And then after years, you will feel the consequences of what you were doing or still are doing. And that's what to talk about. Maybe people watching now are having all these issues and are saying, oh shit, maybe it's because of that. And I want them to know. But so there is...
So we're going to talk about this in details and expand more next time.
Yes. But I still want to show you another thing, very, very briefly, that I will expand next time. So there is a lot of people nowadays that already heard about the energy centers and the chakras. There is. There is some not, there is some yes.
Definitely, yeah.
But there is very few who know about the energy bodies. Because it is one thing, the energy center, it's another thing, the energy bodies. So every human being has energy. The little points in the middle are the chakras that we just discussed. There's also the energy bodies that I'm going to discuss next time, but that is a thing that most people don't know. But this is a thing that every human being on the planet has. And I know from experience, because my energy bodies were shattered and destroyed, fragmented.
You're going to talk about, yes, so you're going to talk about your own experience and which part of your energy body was affected and how was affected.
Yes, and
Right, okay. So, we're going to expand this next time, but meanwhile, we both been writing our own books as a tool, as a healing tool for both of us. Do you have your book, Annick? Yes. Oh, wonderful. If I only was prepared. Yes, mine too. It's here. There we go. We have the two books. Annick's got her book. So we've been writing both as used writing as a healing tool, basically.
yes.
I'm a bit tired today. It's been a long day. Right, so we're going to wrap this up. And as we come to an end of this episode, what we hope you have heard more than a story. This has been a very personal life experience and honest conversation. So we hope you have seen the person behind the labels. No matter where life has taken you, your past does not have to define your future.
Oh no.
Healing is possible. Hope is possible and available, I would say.
Yes.
Restoration is possible, whether your journey begins with one honest conversation, the support of someone who cares, or a renewed connection with your faith or spirituality. Every step towards healing matter.
Yes. Anything is possible. But it
And we want
starts
to say
here.
yes. And with that, we want to say thank you for joining us.
Thank
And
you.
this is Unfiltered and Raw, the podcast where we drop the masks and get real and talk about things that matter. If today conversation has touched you, please, and that's very important. Until next time, take care of yourselves and of each other. Big love, everyone.
Bye.
Big love. Bye.
Le acque detesto qui la peccando, non sono pena satrius est statutas pro meritus sum, se raset impia offendite sum.